Konnichiwa!
Welcome to another episode of Soon So Obsessed. It's another video in our D23 series, and this one will be entitled
Lies Disney Tells You About D23.
So, if you've ever been in a Disney store, or called the Disney store, or had any sort of interaction with Disney, you're well aware that they say one thing, completely do another. So D23 was no exception.
So, when we got our tickets in the mail, it came with a sheet with front and back and told us some of the rules about what to expect at D23.
So we found out quickly that most of that was bunk. So we're going to go through the list of things that were pretty obviously not true and our experiences with those things. Food and beverage. No outside food, beverages, or coolers are allowed at the D23 Expo.
That is a lie.
Immediately when we walked in, initially we had basically no food. We had a few snacks packed, but really light because we didn't want to get in trouble. Right off the bat, going through security, we saw people with whole pizzas, people with coolers, bringing whole coolers of food, among other things.
So this is where I think it's either Disney's rules versus the convention rules. So I think Disney doesn't want people to have food, but the convention people are like, we don't care.
Right.
So, especially for the overnight lines, when we walked through, I think we had somebody in front of us that asked the security, can I bring in food? And they're like, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
So
there were people like behind us nervous about opening their bags and showing the food in their bags, and it turned out that didn't matter at all.
It doesn't matter. So you can definitely bring food. So next time in 2019, bring food.
Don't listen to them.
Number 2.
Please do not bring anything that cannot easily be stored in a backpack or smaller sized bag, since there is no place to store or check items until the show floor opens. No re-entry is allowed, and all members of your party must be present. No holding spaces in line for others to join.
That is a lie.
I literally saw a few people with full mattresses and comforter sets. Like, it looked like they set up a bed on the ground. Not only that, at about 6 o'clock on Friday morning, they told everyone that now would be a good time to go back to your hotel and drop off all of your stuff.
What?
So us, like morons, are sitting there with the thin, tiny blankets and blow-up pillows while other people have, like, full bed sets.
Yeah. That was annoying and very surprising. Yep, they said you have 45 minutes to an hour to bring all your belongings to your car or your hotel, and you can come back.
Not only that, readmittance is a very common occurrence. People come and go constantly. We came and went many times in a single day. In fact, an entire fleet of food trucks parked right outside the expo for you to leave, go eat at, and then get readmitted to the expo. Yeah, I don't really understand.
Number 3.
These are for the lineup procedures. For Friday, July 14th, lineups will begin on Thursday, July 13th at 10 p.m. For Saturday, July 15th, lineups will begin Friday, July 14th at 10 p.m. There will be no overnight lineups taking place the evening prior to Sunday, July 16th.
And that is a lie.
That is a big lie. We got there at 9:30 and people had already lined up. And we expected this. We knew that there would be unofficial lines outside of people just waiting. What we didn't expect is that they would actually be Disney cast members outside facilitating the line, making it an official Disney line.
And I think they might have been letting people in before 10 o'clock.
They definitely were, because we got in, we shouldn't have been in as early as we were. Sunday morning, the 6 o'clock thing, people were lining up Saturday evening. When we left the expo, there were already people lining up for the next day on Sunday, even though there were no lines until 6 a.m. So
yeah, and on Sunday they let people actually into Hall E for overnight lining.
Yeah.
Which, what? Number 4.
While at the Disney store, a cast member with a microphone walked around the line and told people what the rules going into the Disney store were and what the rules for purchasing was. One of the big things was people were not allowed to leave the line. If you were leaving the line to go to the bathroom, you needed to check in with a cast member. And at the front of the line. And when you came back to the line, you needed to check in with that same cast member to tell them you were going back.
The Disney store line is really set up awkwardly. So you kind of have like this open space where people like would come down because they think that like you can hop in line there. So At one point, when we were at that point, there was a gentleman who was obvious eBay seller because he had a huge box full of toys
on like a flatbed,
on like a flat
cart.
He like hopped in line like a few people ahead of us, and the girl that was behind them tried to report him to the cast member, and the cast member was like, what? And he was claiming, I went to the bathroom.
And came back with a crate full of stuff from Jack's, which is impressive.
Right. And I was like, well, you need to check in with the person at the front then. You can't just cut in through here.
And the cast member was basically like, they say you weren't there. And he was like, well, I was just in the bathroom. And then the cast member was just like, oh, okay. It's like, well, thanks a lot. So those are just a few of the lies that Disney told us. I'm sure there are others, but those are the 4 major ones.
One of the biggest things that we can suggest if you are planning to go to 2019 D23 Expo is to follow the D23 Expo Facebook group. It's a really great support system, and you get your updates, and we constantly follow the group, and I highly suggest it. I think we'll do another video about how to plan for D23.
Yeah, in 2019.
Well, I don't know. Well, that's it for today. So we hope you found this video informative, and we will see you guys again soon.
Bye.
On Friday, while we were in store at the Disney line, so how the line is kind of like weird, and there's...
You were in store at the Disney line?
Oh, what?